Hey everybody, this is Lisa from A Knit Sheep. As promised in this week's video, this week's regular podcast, I'm going to do a flip through of the latest Pom Pom Magazine. Look at that. She is gorgeous. Now, this issue is called Dreamscape, and that is a theme. So everything is a little bit dreamy, a little bit ethereal. It's giving very much pastel splendor. So far, the designs are kind of amazing. So I'm going to just do my screen share now and show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is the cover. You know, I'm going to take me off screen entirely. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, yes, I can. So this is Dreamscape. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I wanted to kind of share a look at the palette that they use. Check out the soft, pale kind of pastel colors with pops of brighter colors, mostly oranges. And it's really working for me. It looks like almost summer fruit. So the first design I want to share with you guys is called Effervescent. One of the themes I'm noticing in this issue is changeability or customization and ruffles. So one of the customizations options they offer you is ruffles that you can place pretty much anywhere you like. And that's kind of planned into the pattern. The other thing this entire issue does is you're combining yarn. So Effervescent is a design by Amy Scher. And they pretty much held and released two yarns together. So you have a mohair and a singles fingering. The yarn they actually used was Wandering Flock Fingering Singles and Wandering Flock Mohair. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Oh, that's good. So you can really see the details. So I notice a number of the sweaters are kind of cropped, but they're not cropped particularly short. And I think that's a very easy fix if that's something you want to make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. The next is a pear. Now, this pattern is called Cloud Bow, and it's kind of interesting because it's written as both a slightly flared and ruffled sweater, but it's a big, gentle ruffle, or you can pull it into a dress if you want to. And they're both called Cloud Bow, and it's a two-fur kind of pattern. Now, there are some differences in how it's made. The sweater version, it's all mohair. And the dress version, and I'm going to be harping on this because I think there's a lot of beautiful yarns lurking in stashes everywhere. This is a perfect stash buster because the pattern is designed so that you can put in any weight yarn that you happen to have, anywhere from fingering to Aran, as part of that striping sequence that they have going on. And there's a background of mohair kind of pulling it all together. So I could really see using that dress as the coolest stash buster. Now they do recommend, let's see what needle sizes, if they mention. You will be changing your needle size depending on what yarn you're using at the moment. But I think Cloud Bow could be a lot of fun and a place, it doesn't have to be a stash buster project doesn't have to be a stripy blanket. That's what I'm trying to get at. It could be something as fun as the dress. Kind of amazing. It's got some really nice details too. It's got folded edgings. You can kind of see it, especially in the sweater. And I think that this would be a lot of fun and a way to really use up, especially I think single skeins. Gorgeous. They always have at least a sock or two, and I thought Revelry was kind of cool in that it has that really neat garter stitch heel. I think it adds a nice bit of contrasting texture. And a sock, and once again, you're holding this with no, I'm looking, nope, it's just two sock yarns not held together but alternated. I thought they included some mohair in this one too, but I think it's the other sock I'm thinking of. Now this sock is going to fit a finished foot circumference anywhere from a 6.5 foot circumference to a 9.5, and the model here is pictured. Her shoe size is a size 11 women's. I don't know. I think that is super cute. The next piece is called Myriad. It's got the floof and the texture because once again, we are bringing mohair together with another yarn. And in this particular case, it's 100% linen and mohair. They use a yarn called Karen Oberg Kalinka. And it is a fingering weight 100% linen. Now, I have not worked 100% linen and mohair together, but I have worked mohair with a linen and silk blend, and the resulting fabric was amazing. It was really, really wonderful. That addition of the mohair really transformed the linen into something that felt luxurious against the skin. So if you have some linen lurking around, give it a shot holding it with mohair. It might change your mind about linen. I know a lot of people feel like they don't like linen because it's harder on your hands, but ease up your grip, hold it with some mohair to produce something really beautiful. Now, Plumetus was one that caught my eye kind of immediately because I'm right now on a, kind of see-through kick. And I love the sheerness contrasting against the solid fabric. And they use the solid fabric as kind of like a frame that frames in that sheer portion. And this one is a sock yarn that they use. It's called Walk Collection. And they also use the Walk Collection Kid Mohair lace. So I would guess any sock yarn would work in this instance, and pretty much any mohair would work. Now, what I thought that was really nice that they did was that instead of matching the colors exactly, they went with a framing color that was a little bit darker than the shade used for the main colorway. So the sock yarn is a little bit deeper in tone than the mohair that they use. And that really just gave it a beautiful framed effect. Now, I know everybody's like, okay, where are the cardigans? We've seen a couple of pullovers. The next one is Oniero by Hannah Lubin. Now, this one's kind of interesting. So it took 3 different yarns to come up with this color. And they were kind of marling them together at different points. So that's what's going on in this sweater. And it's all lace weight yarn. Like mohair and silk blends in 3 different colors. And it looks just squishy and delicious. Now, if you notice, the silhouettes we're seeing are slightly cropped, most slightly oversized, with detail on the sleeves. And you can actually see the marling right through here. I love that little cable on the sleeve. And here we have the second pair of socks in this issue. It's called Seroform. And it will fit foot circumference anywhere from 7 inches to 9 inches around. And we're seeing it on a model that wears a US 7.5 sock and a US 8. Excuse me, US 7.5 and size 8 shoe, not sock. And they actually use jaw wool. It's actually quite nice 75-25 woolen nylon sock yarn. And they also held some mohair with it. So if you look closely, you can see the slight fuzziness of the mohair. So your socks will have a little bit of a halo. These, I think, are just fun striped socks. I like that they give it a little bit of life by doing contrasting toe and heels, but you're not, driving yourself crazy working some sort of super intricate pattern into a sock. So I feel like this is a vanilla plus sock that's going to feel really kind of wonderful because of that little addition of the mohair. And our next design is Althea. Now, once again, they give you some choices with this. You can do it as just a casual, comfortable, slightly oversized sweater, or there is a striped version, and on either version, you can include that ruffle. Now, this is done in a DK weight plus a mohair. And depending on whether or not you want to stripe it, you can either have solid colors or stripes. Now, if you take a look at the blue one, they did the opposite in this one as they did. Let me see, what was the name of that sweater? In Plumetus. In Plumetus, they went with a dark frame around the lighter body of the sweater, and here they went with a light frame around a darker body, which is a nice little contrast. You can work the contrast either way, but I think it's nice to kind of see it so that you can compare them to each other and decide what you might like to do with your sweater. I think I'm going to go back to Plumetus right quick. So take a look at that blue Althea, and you notice that the border, the neckline, the hem, and the cuffs are a lighter tone. And here's Plumetus, and the neckline, the hem, and the cuffs are a darker tone of a similar color. So let me know in the comments which way you would go on that. I think both ways. It looks really cute. So this is Floaty. Now, I always say that pom-pom patterns are not for the faint of heart, and this is one of those patterns. I don't think it's because it's particularly hard, but because there's a lot of color changes going on in here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 colors, and you're using light fingering, they specify. So your thinnest fingering weight yarn, plus you're also going to add in a little bit of mohair. So you also have some lace weight yarn. But you've got texture, you've got color changes. I like that they did different colors on each side of the front opening. I think that's a lot of fun. And it just gives you a little bit of extra oomph. But otherwise, I think it's a very sweet cardigan. Once again, slightly oversized, but not incredibly. They say you can work it with 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. And they used just a plain fingering weight wool, and they mixed in a bit of silk mohair with it. So it does have that kind of beautiful mohair halo that just kind of softens all the colors, which I think is kind of wonderful. What do you guys think? I think if you want some focused knitting, I think Floaty is the one for you. That, for me, that would not be TV knitting. That would be, okay, let's pay some close attention to what we're doing here. As a matter of fact, in the magazine itself, it says that Floaty is an ideal companion for those in search of a mindful distraction. This cardigan requires attentive knitting, but making your own is far from a flight of fancy. So I think that this will be one for those who are, you know your color palette, and it's not like choosing several colors for one item is not a challenge for you. Now, this was the other piece that I thought was kind of an art piece. If you wanted to delve into some wearable art, Leonora is the one. Like all the other pieces, it has this beautiful lightness to it because we are using mohair. But once again, this is a place where you can put in whatever fibers you happen to have, because they want you to fold in, well, actually to knit in a bunch of different yarns. Now, it's a cardigan that commemorates an artist called Leonora Carrington, and she was a British-born surrealist artist. So you can incorporate beads. You have every weight here, from lace weight mohair to bulky. You're also incorporating color. and lots of, I think it ends up being very, very textured while not looking heavy at all. If you take a look at the full body shot, it's actually quite translucent, which, except for the portions where you build in the heavier yarns. Now for the main body of the yarn, they use something called Neighborhood Fiber Company Loft. It's a silk mohair. They also used a DK weight also from Neighborhood Fiber called Surrey Loft, and something called and then they say, look, use a range of scrap yarns for scraps A through H in varying colors, weight. Lace weight to DK range is recommended, and use scrap yarn in a bulky weight for the shoulder embroidery. So if you like that kind of lapel decoration, not lapel, but almost like an epaulette, that's what I meant, that you would do in the bulky yarn. But otherwise, your scraps, anywhere from a lace weight to a DK weight, is what you'd use to create those swaths of color. That, I think it gives you a lot of room for just creative play with your scrap yarn. And it'd be an awesome way to work in your leftovers. There are charts, but it's really about color placement and bead placement. But those are the designs in this season's Pom Pom. So far, to be truthful, I didn't see one that I really didn't like. I love Leonora. And so far, my favorites are Leonora, Plumetus, and Floaty. So let me know what you think. Can you see yourself wearing any of this? Plumetus is tempting me. And I hate when I get kind of incepted, because I had a plan for my mohair, and now I might have a different plan. But do let me know, what patterns do you like? What's kind of intriguing you from a technique standpoint? Leonora intrigues the daylights out of me. And we have copies available in our shop. Just visit knitsheep.com, click the shop button. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much. Please like and share this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.